little bit about Jordan Morris's performance today?
Pretty good. His defending, his speed, are you talking about the 2 goals?
I mean, where you want to go with it, Coach?
Look, with Jordan, Jordan made some big strides over the course of the last 36 hours because, he has had a little bit of an injury history. And when we first started the conversation about him starting in, 2.5 days rest, which is a tight turnaround for sprinters, he was actually pissed at me. He was upset. He was like, "No, Coach, I want to play." And we had a long conversation with the medical staff, and, I had to, go with what I thought was best because all players want to play. But then, Jordan's anger turned into, okay, I'm a team guy, and I'm going to accept this decision. And I could just tell when we had spoken to him about getting warmed up and he was going in at halftime, you could just see on his face that he was motivated. Now, whether that anger turned into motivation or whatever you want to call it, the kid was ready to play and prove to me, the medical staff, whomever it was, that he can play and he can contribute on short rest. And so as we keep developing and growing and all of that sort of stuff, I was most impressed with his attitude and his mentality about the situation. He handled it in a very professional fashion, and he delivered. So thanks.
Matt?
To stay on Jordan, he's so effective with his left foot now that it's almost not even noteworthy at this point. But how do you think it was that he was able to turn what was once perceived as a weakness into something closer to a strength for him now?
Well, he's been working at it. I mean, he works every day in training. I mean, we're blessed to have, Jimmy obviously Tommy works with the goalkeepers, Jimmy works with the defenders, Gonza the midfielders, Brecky the forwards. So we have enough staff to kind of help guys get better at their craft. We want Jordan to, be dangerous on his left, but we also want him to cut in and shoot with his right. I mean, I think that can be effective for him. So we've been working on things. He's been working on things. And, if you practice something long enough, you're going to get better at it.
Nico?
Miguel Ibarra starts today. Overall thoughts on his start?
Good. Yeah, good. 60 solid plus minutes. Had a couple chances. I mean, he could have been the hero the one in the second half. I mean, the first half he was scrappy, got around the field a little bit, so it was a good start for him.
I see a question from Larry Stone there.
Larry.
Brian, one more Jordan question.
Yeah.
Do you think the time could be coming where you don't have to rest him on short?
Yeah. Look, I think we as a club are very proactive in the sense that, our medical staff, our fitness staff, everybody works together to get the athletes to be, ready to play for us, for the coaching staff. And so, the question we always ask, look, if it was a national team and they're playing, in 4 days rest, would he play? Yeah, sure. Why can't he do that for us?
Michelle?
Coach, after Champions League, the loss on Thursday, you said there was some stuff after watching the tape that you really wanted this team to go back to, tighten up. Did you see any improvements you'd hope to see today after that match?
Yeah, I didn't mind. I didn't mind the first 10, 15 minutes of the game. That's what I needed to see. I think guys were energetic. I think guys were good. Then as the first half kind of wore on, I think Chicago, that'll be a good team. I mean, they were missing a few guys. We obviously were missing a couple guys, but, they have a couple of their DPs that were not there. So they'll be a better team. I thought they controlled some parts of that first half. But the aggression and the effort was there. That's what I asked of them before the game, and I thought it was there in the first 15 minutes. Fast forward that to, obviously the blip of the first whatever it was, 2 minutes, whatever they scored, the 46th minute. Erase that first couple of minutes of the second half. I thought the tempo of the second half was great as well. And that's, again, coming off 2.5 days rest. They were able to persevere and press and go after it and, reward themselves with 2 goals.
Mark?
How pleased were you with Joe Paulo's performance today?
I've been pleased with all of his performances so far. He's shown that he is a thinker. He's a guy that solves problems on the field. That's what I like. You saw a little aggression out of him today. He's getting a little pissed. So I like that as well. So very happy, very pleased. Seems to be fitting in really well.
Any sort of concerns about going 90 minutes sort of back to back like that for him?
No.
Steven?
12 touches for Rui Diaz in the first half, 11 in the second. Do you need to get him more linked up with the rest of the attack?
Is that a question or you're telling me to?
Do you need to get him more linked up?
Yes, we do. You would have been correct on both counts, statement or question. Yeah, I mean, the goal scorers go through ups and downs and phases. Last year with Raul, maybe wasn't as good as a start when he got here, but we will get him more touches. I think, to be fair to Raul, I think he misses Nico. I think those 2 guys had a really good partnership last year, and it's always harder to create things in our sport than it is to defend and destroy and stuff like that. And, so getting Nico back, will help Raul, getting Jordan on the field. Once we get everybody together again, I think that will help. I mean, Raul's a good pro. He knows the drill. He'll get his goals.
Mickey?
There was a pretty unbalanced, as far as duels won. They had a 60-40 advantage in the first half. What adjustments did you make in the second half? Did you talk to them about that advantage?
I usually reserve that for our conversations after the game. I did notice that. I was firm at halftime, but not, ranting and raving because it's way too early in the season to do that. But yes, we tried to, again, at home, we want to be more aggressive. I'll use Jordy Dilemma as an example. The kid is such a good athlete, and we ask him sometimes to sit in front of the 2 center backs. But on days like today, where, Chicago really didn't have any sprinter speed to get in behind, sometimes Jordy doesn't have to sit in front of the center backs, and he can go and he can press and be aggressive. And I thought you saw that in the second half, and he won a few more duels, a few more balls. I thought there were some guys who were going to ground. I thought Shane O'Neill had another solid game. I mean, the whole team just in general, I think, in the second half lifted up their defensive effort, and I think that helped with the duels.
Maz?
This kind of added on to you talked about the defensive effort. What did you see from your center back pairing in addition to the Jordy Dilemma in terms of them getting better after that goal? Was there any adjustments that were made? It looked like they're playing closer and the communication was...
Well, again, we talked a little bit about it on Thursday night, the narrative of having a different back 4. I mean, again, today I switched Joven out, so knew who wasn't in there, and 2 new guys again. So sometimes that just takes a little while to gel, but, both, Shane and Javi did okay. Yes, that's a new pair. They're both, eager to learn, all that sort of stuff. Yaimar was, happy that we won. I mean, he's all smiles. So we'll get those 3, and we'll work on it. We'll work on our defending tactics and get it right.
Felipe?
Was wrong.
Well, the first goal was wrong. If I'm being a little critical, I mean, I didn't like giving up the first goal. I told him in there after the game, I said, look, we gotta be a team. Plenty of positives from this game, but we gotta be a team that's hard to score on. And that to me was a little too easy.
Felipe?
Coach, how is this win is gonna help the team to heal what happened with Champions League?
As Felipe, as the clock was clicking down and, seemed like it might end up 1-1, that was exactly on my mind. can we get a last-minute goal? Can we send the fans home happy? Can we, energize the team? I think that happened.
Jose?
Danny Leiva's performance, subbed out in the 45th minute, obviously for Jordan. How did you think he performed at the beginning?
It's good. It's good. Look, it was a big day for Danny. I mean, to start in a home opener at 16. I mean, I was asking Gonzo and Jimmy and those guys if they could ever remember their own careers about, starting at 16 in front of 40,000+ people. So it was a big occasion. I told Danny at halftime, I said, look, it's just a tactical decision. I felt that Chicago was ripe to try and get in behind, and Jordan certainly, he delivered on that. It wasn't anything that the kid did wrong as far as what the game just needed something different.
John?
You talked about on Thursday how using the disappointment of that loss going forward as motivation for this club and going into this game. How do you feel that motivation came through? Do you think that there was any sort of mental fatigue or hangover from that loss, or was it all positive?
No, I complimented them again for never quitting. Yes, I wanted Michelle to start the game fast and all that sort of stuff, but the way they ended the game is consistent with what this team has been about, for the last 4 seasons. They never quit. Teams, it's hard in MLS, you get scored upon, the stats are against you actually to collect points and come back and win, and this team never quits. They always find a way to figure out something to get something out of the game. And to their credit, they did it again tonight, and that's what I complimented them for after the game.
Ari?
Jordan and Christian were combining a lot today. They combined on both the goals and then on the one that got called off. Is that something you noticed him working on with Christian playing higher up the field, and what did you just make of the chemistry up there that looked like they?
Well, that was, as far as the tactical switch was concerned, we brought Jordan on, we took Leiva off. And I could have put Christian next to DeLem and kept João Paulo up there, but I felt, again, the way Chicago was playing, João Paulo could sit next to DeLem and Christian as a number 10. And so Christian was then thereby just naturally closer to Jordan. I mean, if Gustav comes back and we play how we play with Nico, they might be on opposite sides of the field. That doesn't mean that they're not going to be able to play, with each other, because, what Christian did is on the near post, he got in on the set piece goal, but the first goal, he got down the right and Jordan came from the left. So I think that's just 2 good soccer players making plays. I mean, Christian has shown that he can get in behind on that right flank. You have Jordan getting in on the left flank and Christian coming in at the back post. I think that'll make us pretty effective.
I think I got all first-time askers. Do we have any follow-ups? I saw Jose first.
Speaking of Christian, 2 assists, he's actually proven to be really effective on the offensive side. But he's also shown a lot of aggressiveness and a lot of strength that he's gained throughout the last couple of years. That's been evident after the departure of Osvaldo Avasi. Can you speak about that a little bit?
I think Christian's always had that competitive drive in him. I think, you mentioned Ozzy. Ozzy was a great player for many, many reasons. I think they're different. I think they're different in many ways, but both of them were super competitive. And Christian shows it a little differently than Ozzy does, but the common thread is they wanted to win in every training session, every game, every competition that they had. They're winners. And so that's where that common thread is. Christian has shown consistently since he's been here at this franchise that he wins most of his duels.
Jeremiah?
Yeah, do you have any updates on Nico and Gustav? How close?
Gustav will be in full training on Tuesday. Nico will be in most of full training on Tuesday, but that timeline is still TBD.
Nico?
Speaking of the younger players that, the team has, Hamuel Awana has been one of the players that hasn't really been in the 18. Is there anything to that?
He came up with a quad injury yesterday at training. all the young kids have been fine. They've worked hard. You know, they gotta wait for their chances, but, you know, he'll be fine.